it was at a point where I was upset, and I was lashing out, and literally no one deserved that.
I see a lot of minority aesthetic professionals give up too soon because the lack of resources.
If you give up, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to reach that goal.
Hey, how you guys doing? I want to welcome you to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we take different aesthetic professional med spa owners and allow them to share their stories so they can better serve you. I'm Dontel Antonio, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. And our guest came all the way from Ohio, got on the road, did 10 hours. How you doing, Raquel?
I'm doing great. I'm pleased to be here. I'm so glad that you have me here, and I'm just excited. So thank you.
Before we get started, what made you say, I'm just going to go do this 10 hours on the road? I'm not going to make no excuses, even though stuff came up.
Yes.
But I'm not going to make excuses. Anybody else would have made an excuse, but you didn't. Why didn't you?
Well, being in the business that I am in with a med spa, visibility is very important. So in knowing that and understanding that, there is no other place that I should be as I'm trying to grow in content and visibility. So I knew that it was important for me to be here for my business, for people to see the vision that I have. So I'm here, and I'm thrilled.
I love it. Now, I just asked you before the cameras got rolling, like that 10-hour drive, what you eat? Like,
what did I eat? So I had some lifesavers and some sugar-free Red Bulls.
Because you just had to get here. You had to do what you had to do.
I just needed the energy to just pull me through, because I've had some long days as I'm growing my business. It's exciting, but I've had some very, very long days. So I knew that I needed to be here. So whatever could keep me awake on my journey is what I did. So
I love that. I just wanted to commend you on that. No excuses.
Thank you.
So what made you get into the aesthetics?
So for me, I actually grew up in a family. My mother and father, actually, they were in salons growing up. So I grew up kind of around the environment of like the beauty aesthetic industry. However, there was a clinical side of it that I wanted to incorporate as well. So I decided, when I was torn between nursing and going to school to become an esthetician, I said, you know what? I'm going to do nursing and then incorporate the beauty industry within my field. So I decided to get into the industry. I'm in love with aesthetics, actually. It actually saved my life for a point in time when I was at a very low point in my life. And I gravitated towards aesthetics, and it brought back a sense of joy and a sense of life and a sense of who I've always been. And I said, you know what? This has worked for me. This has brought joy and peace and happiness and understanding within my life. And I'm sure that this will also be someone else's journey. So I just wanted to be a part of that.
I love that. And I know you had dealt with 14 fibroids.
Yes.
And that was challenging because my wife, she had a fibroid. It was big as a basketball.
Yeah.
And so she had it while she was having birth with my daughter. And so it was like, she looked like she had twins. And then once the baby came, she still had it. And then they made her do a C-section. Yeah. And so then she had to do a year later, do a C-section to remove the fibroid. And so now she's scared every time because she don't want it to grow back. Like, how were you able to mentally cope with 14 of them?
So for me, it was very difficult. And I actually have a family history of fibroids and of PCOS, which are both conditions that make it really hard in terms of weight, which is why within my aesthetic practice, weight loss and weight management is a very important part within my practice, because I did experience that. And it actually looked as if I was six months pregnant throughout that process as well. So it was very difficult for me, because around the time that they grew so massive, I was actually a newlywed. So for me to go from one point in, the dating phase to getting married to now having fibroids and looking as if I'm 6 months pregnant, not having energy, just being tired, short of breath, not being able to exercise away, blood loss. There was so many things going on at once. And for me, it was at a point where I was upset, and I was lashing out, and literally no one deserved that. So I had to figure out what can I do to get back to myself? What can I do to treat this, to resolve this, to be the person that I know that I am, to be the person that I've always been, and to keep my husband first and foremost. So I had to kind of figure out, what could I do for my health to resolve that? Aesthetically, what could I do in terms of weight loss, weight management? And then I had to get rid of the fibroids. Yeah. So I did that, and I was kind of, able to pull myself together to know that there's other people that are going through this journey and that I need to be strong and figure out what I can do to help others that may have this going on and it's affecting their body image, that they're experiencing depression, but there's resolutions for it. So actually being a voice and not experiencing that in silence, I think is what helped me the most.
I love that.
Yeah.
and the reason why I love it is because it was a traumatic experience for you. Mm-hmm. And it went to everybody else because you wasn't 100. Your battery wasn't 100%.
It wasn't.
But you fixed it, and you now are making it your mission to help others.
Yep.
Where sometimes we might fix a problem that we're going through, but we don't think about everybody else who's going through it,
right? Or
everybody else who's affected by it. And so, like, what made it be like, this is my mission to go and speak on it and be the voice for it?
I think I really looked at what was going on in the world, like in terms of disease, fibroids, obesity. There's literally 41.6% of American citizens over the age of 20 are obese. Mm-hmm. Another 71% of them are overweight. And with that, there comes high blood pressure, cardiovascular conditions, stroke, cancer. So there's so many disease processes that are related to having some of these conditions. And I know that there's a way to treat that. There's a way to prevent it. And I know how I felt after it worked for me. And I know how I felt when it didn't work for me. So for me to understand both sides of it, both sides of the spectrum, it's like, if I can do something to help other people feel like themselves and to feel beautiful and to be happy with who they are and live within themselves and their purpose, then I want to do that. I feel as if that is my mission within this industry. It is my why for continuing to push through when there's difficult times within the business. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. So what are some of the weight loss products you offer?
Yeah, so I actually have an amazing team, actually. So we do the GLP-1 injections. We do have those available, but we also have health coaches available. I have trainers available. There's fitness apps that we have to work with individuals. There's nutritionists. So we basically have an entire team to put together like a comprehensive weight loss plan. Mm-hmm. So we obviously incorporate those injections, but there's other things that go along with that, like the diet, nutrition. Mm-hmm. What can they do to maintain it? Because with the injections, they're very popular, right?
Yes.
Around now. A lot of people talk about them. A lot of people are utilizing them. And if you use them, you will lose weight. But how do you maintain that? Yes. How do you keep it off? And how do you sculpt yourself to look a certain way? So kind of factoring in all of those things is what we offer within my program. And it's not just me. I do have a team because there are other fitness and healthcare professionals that kind of come together to just figure out the best comprehensive plan for our clients.
I love that. And I love that you have more than just the semaglutide.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that some people overthink. They think that they're coming to you just for the shots or just for this. But no, it's a lifestyle. Like right now, I'm just getting off a 10-day raw food diet.
Okay.
Right. And I did a cleanse. I want to cleanse myself. I want to cleanse my mind, my soul, my spirit. Just know that raw food diet was hard as ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I understand.
But it was a challenge. It was a challenge. I challenged myself to do something different. And I slimmed down crazy.
Yeah.
I feel better. And now I once I got off, it sounded bad. I went to go get a steak and some French fries.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even eat it.
Yeah.
Now I'm back to eating what I was eating. I tested it for one day. I was like, no, I don't like that. Now I'm back to every day I'm eating my grapes. I'm eating good.
Okay. That's good.
My health, I just like it now. And it was just 10 days.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. But I never thought about it.
Right.
And so it's like a lot of people are on this weight loss journey, but they think that it's a miracle pill that's going to help overnight, but it's a progress. It's a process.
Actually, you also have to be mindful because as you're losing weight and you're losing fat, with the way that the medication is structured, you're also losing muscle. Yeah. So you have to figure out a way to combat that, which means you have to still exercise, which means you have to incorporate protein within your diet. So it's not just simply, I'm going to take this magic magic skinny shot and then all of my problems are going to be resolved. We would like for it to be that way, but there's a little bit of extra that you have to put into it. So just actually working with a team that's knowledgeable of that and that they're able to guide you, I think is very important, because it is important to think about that. If you're losing fat, you want to make sure that you're maintaining your muscle and that it's looking a certain way, because you don't want to, you're doing this because you want to be your best self. So think of it as a comprehensive plan and actually put together all the pieces that you need. And I think that's what's really important about the program and what we offer. And it's really important for me. Now, disregard the mints and the sugar-free Red Bull that I had, but I was on a mission. So that's how that ended up happening. I was on a mission to get here, to get to you, to kind of talk about my message and my vision and what I'm doing within my practice. But it is a lifestyle change. It's very important to stick to it, to write out a plan and to really see that vision and live it through.
Have you ever in your life dealt with being overweight or anything like that?
Yeah, so I just recently had my surgery for my fibroid. Yes. So I'm actually in the process of transitioning to a healthier me myself now. Now, I did it prior to the growth of my fibroids. I did it. I was very successful. I was thrilled with my results, but unfortunately that did happen. There are a lot of studies in terms of what causes fibroids to grow, a lot of studies that haven't taken place yet, a lot of things that they don't know. Yeah. And so just kind of being mindful of that and watching how I eat for the most part. And it's very important to trying to prevent that from happening again. But with all of that, I'm actually now recovering from that surgery. So I'm even to this day, I'm going through my journey, and I'm very optimistic because I know that my plan works. It has worked before, and I'm excited to be going through this journey with some of my patients. So, but I've gone through it myself. I've worked with family members that have gone through it, and and it's just aesthetics, and it's literally saved our lives. So I'm excited, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love it. And so when it was time to open up your practice, like, how did you fund it? Like, did the money fall out the sky?
It did not. No.
Tell me about it.
So for me, I actually had a interesting journey with funding, and a lot of people, they ask me this question. I actually do. So I'm a writer, and I do a lot in terms of writing, like grant writing and pitching. And so when I initially had the vision and I wrote out the plan, because I'm a SANE nurse, so I work with a lot of sexual assault victims. So a lot of my clients that are doing within the aesthetic industries, they've dealt with some form of trauma or abuse or assault or domestic violence. So when thinking about that vision and that the niche, the market that I was working with, I created my pitch for my business. And I literally signed up for every pitch and funding opportunity in the area that I could think of. And I got pretty good at it. And I won quite a few of them. So for me, fortunate enough, I was able to utilize my voice, utilize my vision, utilize my message, utilize my experience, and actually put that into the business and receive funding through pitch competitions, through grants. And a large part of how we got off the ground was because of that.
I love that. And if it's an aesthetic practice probably listening, like, what is just maybe some 1, 2, 3 steps that they can do to better prepare themselves to actually go out and get grants that's in a local market to help them?
I will basically say, when you think of your plan or your mission statement, truly support it. So like for me, there's a lot of people that, the med spa industry, it's something that's going to be around for life. But just like you asked me, why was I motivated to get into the business? So I literally utilized my why for getting into the business, and I structured my mission plan, and I wrote that plan out. So just like for it to be that passionate for me, I basically described in words and allowed other people to see that passion that I had. And if I resonated and it connected to me, then more than likely people that are in positions that kind of help push that off the ground, then they may be passionate about it too, and so truly support that mission and that journey. So if you have a why, whatever your purpose was for getting in the business, create that mission plan and create that vision and create that pitch proposal based off of that to truly get other people to see your why, to understand it, and to feel it.
I love that. And the reason why I ask is because I see a lot of minority aesthetic professionals give up too soon because the lack of resources. And sacrificing, like they doing slow season. Like we know the triple J's, June,
right.
June, January, July is slow seasons, but most people, they're gonna give up. And what made you like, I can't give up right now, I gotta keep going?
It's very personal for me. I knew that this was what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew that if you give up, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to reach that goal. You're never going to accomplish what you have set out to accomplish. So you literally have to dig deep, dig within that why, pull yourself up and say, you know what, I got this. I'm going to keep going, because if you quit, you're not going to be successful. So, there may be difficult times. If you're working a 9-to-5 for someone else, helping them meet their vision, you're going to be at a standstill and remain that way forever. So just think, you may have a difficult point, but you have the opportunity to grow so much because you literally are in control. So knowing that you're in control, it may be difficult, but you have to keep going. You have to remember that why. You have to dig deep, and you gotta get it together. Like my husband always tells me, make it happen. And that's my motto. I make it happen. So it can be discouraging, but there is a community of other women that are going through it too. And we really kind of have to like support each other, a sisterhood and a brotherhood. Sorry, it's not just ladies. But we have to really support each other, because you started for a reason. So finish.
I love that. And so you service more of Ohio? I
do. Yeah. So with the weight loss program, you don't necessarily have to be in Ohio, but I target Ohio just because there's other parts of the weight loss program that you should come into the location to do, like the body scanning, the 3D body analysis. Those are things that are pretty hands-on. So it's possible to service people outside of your local area, but with some of the components of our program, it's best if they're able to come into the practice.
I love it. And I know this is a big challenge for a lot of aesthetic professionals is getting clients. Like, what are you doing in your marketing, your content, whatever, to bring new people through the door?
So I have to work on my content, which we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk to you about definitely. However, I just remain my authentic self. I feel as if you're yourself, your people will come to you. And that's what I want. I want the people that support me. So whoever they are, wherever they are, people that support me for being my true authentic self, those are the clients that I want. And so if I can be myself and draw in individuals through the door, then those are the individuals that I want, because I feel like my purpose and my vision has an audience, and I'll take them as they are.
I love that. And that's deep, because a lot of times we be like, okay, I want to serve my people, but I want to be the cheapest to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I see the aesthetic practice, I see a lot of them are undervaluing their prices and wondering why they can't grow.
Right.
When it came to pricing and structuring your pricing, did you have that same problem?
So for me, I made sure when I started off, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of hands-on practice. I literally went around the world getting trainings and just making sure that I was an expert within my craft. And I said that I'm not going to launch this until I feel as if I'm an expert. And if you're an expert within your craft, then you have to charge as such. So I literally did not even advertise any of my services until I felt that my level of expertise was one that I could stand by. And I did that. That's when I launched, and I charged accordingly.
So how were you able to determine that number? Because I see a lot of them is like super undervalued. They pick their number based off their competition in their area.
Right.
And so how did you choose your numbers?
I think for me, the area prices or market research did have a lot to do with the pricing. However, there were a lot of other things of value that were incorporated within a lot of the services that I provide. So some people, like we had mentioned, they just offer just like an injection, and that's it. You take this magic injection, and you're gonna just all of a sudden have your beach body and be and be ready to go. Which, I mean, you will lose weight as I mentioned, but there were other things that I felt would make the program the best, and just realizing the value that you're putting in that, other things that you're checking, labs that you're checking to see if there's any other underlying conditions that they may have. When you think about all of that package together, then yes, you may look at market research and what the other value in the area is for those services, but you have to also incorporate the additional things that you're offering. And then that's how you're able to price it. Obviously not being unreasonable, but being reasonable enough to and showing them the actual value of what you're offering. Yes. So that's what I did.
I love it. And I ask that is because I know that that's a big problem.
Yeah.
And sometimes when aesthetic professionals researching, they're researching somebody that probably started yesterday, and they're pricing themselves off of that instead of going out and actually becoming an expert, going and figuring it out. Somebody told them, hey, let me sell some semaglutide, some mesotherapy, some trisabotage, and you're going to just make a boatload of money.
Yeah.
But it don't work like that. Right. It's a mindset thing, and it's some patience that you have to have. Yep. How long have you had your practice open?
2 years now.
All right. That 2 years, that first year, how much you did that first year?
Ooh, year one was rough.
100%.
Year one was rough. So I much rather talk about year two, but
I want the reason I asked year one, I asked for a reason.
I understand.
I want a lot of people be in year one and they swear they're supposed to hit the lottery.
Right.
But it does not work like that.
Right. Because it may be like 65.
Okay, right. And so it's like and that I already
and
knew.
there's bills and things that come from that. But year one was a lot. And again, it was me growing within my practice. It was me growing within my rates and my value. And I felt as if I had a very valuable services, because I literally researched 2 years prior to opening and studying and traveling. But there's so much more that can be made within an aesthetic practice that literally can be made within a month.
Yes.
And so I just want people to understand that too, because I could have given up, because it's like having a business, the stress that goes with having a business, payroll, running a business. Literally, I could go to work a 9 to 5 and make that easy as a nurse. But you have to think about it. There's so much more value and there's so much more growth potential within the aesthetic industry. And I knew, okay, this may be where I'm at for year one, but come year two, I may have some $60,000 months. Yes. And I knew that, and I kept going, and and I'm very happy with where I still have some growth to go now, but I'm very happy in terms of where I am now versus when I started.
What do you feel like was one major transition that you did that helped you year two that you didn't have in year one?
I think I grew in my confidence within myself. I was confident, that I knew the craft, I knew the skill set, but I only in my mind had that confidence. I didn't show it. I didn't live it. I didn't breathe it within my practice. And I think when I stepped into myself to say, you know what, you got this, you know how to do this, you've studied this, you've worked hard for it. And when I started to actually live and breathe within that confidence, I think for me, that was a wake up.
I love it. And I ask because mindset plays a lot of role, because we'll get some people and they'll be like, oh, I want to make $50,000 a month. Yeah. And then I'm like, well,
and you can.
And I'm like, well, how long you been in business? I've been in business 2 years. How much money did you make on your own in 2 years? Well, I'm doing $5,000 a month. So you say we're going to have to do this in the next 3 months, 2 months? Yeah, but you couldn't do it in the last 2 years?
Yeah, you got to give it some time and nurture it a little bit.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's like the mindset thing. Yeah. It's like you have to have patience. And that's why I asked you how it was year one. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, year one is everybody's worst year. Mm-hmm. It's business. Right. And so it's like, if you even break even, that's a blessing. But most of the time you be under.
Right.
But it's keep going. And I think that's the biggest thing I see is mindset. The mindset has to shift, because a lot of them come from bedside, right? So they might have spent the last 10 years on bedside for somebody else's dreams, but it's hardly giving their own dreams enough fuel.
is one thing that I had to realize as I walked away from bedside is we literally allow people to pay us to forget our dreams when we work a 9 to 5 and when we work bedside and when we're too afraid to truly step out on a ledge and go for our business, we're allowing people to pay us to forget our dreams. And we have a limit, a cap at what they can pay you to forget your dreams. But when you actually step out into your purpose and you step out on that ledge, your earning potential is limited. Like there's no limit. So I knew that. I understood that. I knew that it was going to be hard. I had a lot of days of ugly cries, but I knew, and even now, because I'm still growing, as I mentioned, but I know that I will get there because I refuse to give up. It's extremely personal for me and my family, and the future of my family depends on it. So I'm here, and you'll see me a lot more. I'm going to work on my content. You're going to work on my content with me, and there's so much more to what I have planned, and I'm really excited about it.
I love it. And when you got started, did you start in a suite? What was that start like?
So I did actually. So I had one little small suite because I do post-op care too. So I work with post-op clients, the manual lymphatic drainage. I do that too, and like pre and post-op labs. And so when I started off just doing my manual lymphatic drainage for post-op clients, I was in just a one suite, and I'm claustrophobic. So I will tell you I have issues within that suite, but it was the start of a path, and it was the start of a journey, and I needed it to kind of get to where I actually, you know what? I have to, you just made me think of something. So my year 1 technically was my year 2, because when I started in my suite, I didn't talk about that. When I started in my suite that year, that was really rough. Even than what I'm considering to be my year 1, because, I was trying to find myself, honestly. And I needed that time to work with family, to work with friends, and to truly find myself. And a lot of things were, I'll just do this for you. And, allow me to take some pictures. I need models. And so I can, post it and show people. And, so I did a lot of that within that suite, but it was a part of my journey, and I appreciate that part of my journey, and I refer that suite to other people that are looking to start, because it literally helped push me to where I am now.
I love that. And so you went from a suite to where now? Like, how many rooms you got now?
So I have an amazing location now. I also do a diagnostic lab. So I have my lab within my practice. I have two exam rooms. I have my lab, which is a larger space, an amazing waiting area and reception area. And we just have an entire first level, and there's room to do like the additional services that I've incorporated, that I'm trained to do, and to actually have other providers within the location too. Whereas before, it was me, and there was only barely enough room for me. But the transition has been just incredible.
I love that. And the reason why I ask is because where you start is not where you end up.
Right.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't want to get started until I get the big location. No, use the small suite as a stepping stone to get that clientele up, to get that practice in, to build that reputation, to understand the ins and the outs of the business, and then go. Yeah. Sometimes they'll start like, let me start with the big old space, and then when they go under, you're wondering why.
And you'll have those months where you may not see anyone. And then you're in this huge space. Those bills are still there. They're not going to wait. You still have to pay them. They're still due on the 1st. 100%. So if you're in a suite versus in a building, it's easier to pick up a shift as a nurse and say, okay, I didn't have any clients, but I'm going to pick this shift up. But it's 12 hours, and then I'll get this suite taken care of. Whereas if you start off and you're running before you're able to, I know it may look nice, it may, but that we don't want for it to just look a certain way. We want to actually, for it to actually be what it is. And so in order for us to do that, you really have to grow within your space, grow within yourself, grow within your practice, and start off in a suite.
Yes, I love it. Most of the clients that I've seen that actually succeed is the ones that is not scared to go and grab a couple hours at the hospital
Mm-hmm.
so they don't have to give up.
Yeah.
And they'll go do it into that business is making enough
Yep.
revenue that they can sustain, right? And so the ones who don't succeed are the ones who make every excuse in the book to why they can't keep going. And when I say
Right.
keep going, I'm talking visibility.
Right.
In your business, you got to keep paying for content marketing. You got to pay for visibility.
You do.
If you cut anything, it better not be visibility.
Right.
I don't care if it get rough. Like I tell, go Uber for a couple hours. Go do whatever you
Right.
got to do. It's only temporary.
Right.
You're going to get through whatever slow season. I had to learn not to be emotionally attached with the business. So when it's up, I can't be, oh, we're up. Because when
Right.
it's down, we're going to be attached, be depressed, be all
Right.
of that.
Right.
We have to allow the business to actually do its thing.
Right.
And we just got to keep serving and pouring into the business so it can keep helping.
Right.
I think that's a big thing. And I talk on mindset for the aesthetic providers because y'all have the power to rebuild the community. You have the power to rebuild the women,
Yeah.
to rebuild the men, get the kids right because their household is right. When the mom is weak and
Yeah.
is not 100%,
Mm-hmm.
the whole house trembles.
They do.
The whole community trembles. So when I see aesthetic professionals, I say, you have the power to make a difference. You have the power to build back the confidence, make the woman beautiful again, make the woman powerful again.
Yep.
So why aren't you showing up
Yep.
over
If they can't see you and if they can't see what you're doing, then you're limiting being able to utilize that power.
Yes.
And so content is important because they literally have to know that you exist in order for them to reach out to you and in order for what you're doing to make a difference. So it's important, very much so.
Yes, I love it. So tell me like one of your content stories, like when you first got started shooting any type of content. Was it scary for you? Like,
well, yes, because first and foremost, I am a perfectionist. So if you're a perfectionist and you're trying to perfect something that you know absolutely nothing about, it is going to bother you. So there were days that I literally spent 9 hours on something that would have taken someone that was a professional maybe 3 minutes. And it still didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to turn out. I had this thought in my mind, like, oh, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do this. Oh, that's going to be so funny. And then I'm going to do that. And then it's like, wait, what was the point of this? And so, yeah, I struggle with it. And it was time consuming and I still didn't get the image that I wanted. So I struggle with content but I also understand the value of allowing professionals to do what professionals do. So, so we have a lot to talk about here.
I love it. When did you, like, I don't know if you've had this or you learning it, like, but when did you learn the art of delegation?
I learned the art, I would say, I've been a nurse now for, I would say 13 years. So I learned it, I would say I received that foundation just in school, but to actually utilize it appropriately, I would say just within the past within my business. Now at work, obviously I know how to delegate different things, but the true art of delegation within a business, I would say I just recently, kind of embraced it more so. And I've accepted my limitations and I've accepted when you need to outsource certain things because within business, you can't do everything. And you have to have people that I'm an expert within the realm of aesthetics. That's what I do, but I don't do content. So that's when you have to truly embrace people that is their vision, that is their mission, that is what they do. They have an entire headquarters set up for this. Those are the people that you need to embrace to do that because it's very important for growth.
Yeah, I say I couldn't get nobody GLP-1 to save my life or their life, right?
But together with someone that does, it's a very powerful collaboration.
Yes.
So, and collaboration is so important for growth.
I think that's the biggest thing. Winners win because they're coachable.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like it's lifelong learning. You can never stop learning. Because even for us,
true.
We used to, like, I've been doing content for 14 years. Wow. So I started in 2010. I left my 9 to 5 and I said, I'm just going to follow my dream. So for 14 years, I've been shooting content. No side jobs, no nothing. Full-time content. Before the world even got like super hip to content, I've been doing it. Right. I love it. It's my passion. But what I had to realize was this is just like, I have a vehicle to go help others. But I can't give up. I got to keep going. And beforehand, we was generalized. We was helping every industry.
Right.
And I realized that I wanted to serve the people that want to serve. And so we came into aesthetics. And when we came into aesthetics, we was like, oh my God.
Yeah. You saw there was something missing.
Yes. A lot. The ingredient that we do, right?
Yes.
And so it was like, God, thank you. Because I was going to lawyers and I was going to go help lawyers.
Okay.
And I spoke at an event and I signed up some clients and I realized all of y'all problems is what we've been solving for so many people for the last 5 years, right? And so the biggest things was consistency, content creation, sales, systems, nurturing, scaling, how to go get a team, how to hire a team, how to actually be a servant leader and lead more. Right. And how to use the business and the infrastructure.
Right.
And it was like, when people come to us, they was like, I thought I was just coming for content. I didn't know y'all do all of this.
Right.
I say, when it comes to serving, our core values of our company is go over and beyond. Number 2 is excellence is the standard.
Right.
And number 3, help our clients serve better than anybody else in their market.
Right.
So when it comes to serving, we know that it takes tools to serve. And so that's where we come in. We go to the ground running and we tell people it don't happen overnight.
Right.
It don't happen overnight. It might take some people months. It might take some people years.
Right.
It's about being consistent, being coachable, doing the stuff that was hard. I remember one of our clients, when she came to us, she was doing like $15,000 a month, right? Her first 90 days, we got her to $109,000 in a month.
Wow.
And now she don't do none less, right? But that first month when she was doing, when she hit that first $100,000 a month, she wanted to quit every single day because she never been stretched like that. It is a lot of work to make a lot of money.
Right.
And so I had to mentally make sure she was okay every single day.
Wow.
But a lot of people wouldn't know that because they never been there before.
Right.
And so I know what it comes to making 6 figures monthly.
Right.
Right. What type of input you got to do, what type of mindset you got to be, how the people around you got to act, how you got to have a second for yourself. Right. And she thanks me to this day because that was her hardest month. And that month she was turning 40.
Wow.
So for her 40th birthday,
that's an amazing 40th milestone birthday.
And now it's easy. Now it's easy. Now it's like, all right, now let's get to $200,000-$300,000 a month.
Right.
And so now that's where we at. That 100,000, I was
gonna say, and I think that helps too, like actually doing like with working with visibility and with working with your content, the more you do it, that helps with that confidence that I talked about. And there's a lot of people, like I said, I started doing better once I was more confident within myself. But as you're doing content, you're in front of the camera, you're talking about what you do, the more and more you do that, you are gradually building that confidence that now when you go and you meet these strangers in the mall, a group of women, and you go up to them and you talk to them about your business and confidence, that you've just earned you 10 more clients. Whereas if you didn't have that confidence, you may just, walk by like, well, maybe they'll see the card that I set here. But if you're actually confident and you're talking to people and you're engaging with people, that is what it's going to take to get clients within your door. So that even helps with confidence and growing your business. So yes, it's important.
And I say the best thing someone could say to you is no, which is the best thing because you're going to go figure it out anyway. And so even if this client don't get it, it's okay. Keep going. You're going to learn something better. You're going to learn what to do better next time. Maybe, you talk too much. You said the numbers too fast. Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you're going to keep learning. I think that's the blessing.
Yeah.
But I just want to commend you on your journey.
Thank
I want to
you.
commend you, first of all, for making no excuses.
Yes.
Right? You could have been like, hey, Dontel, I got emergency. I can't figure this out. We're just going to reschedule. You said, all right, matter of fact, your message itself, you didn't give up in the message. You said, if you want me to come, I'm going to come. And I said, well, let's see. And I said, just come.
Yeah.
You made no excuses. You got on the road 10 hours. You showed up here. You sharing gems. You sharing your story. You're going to help save somebody because you showed up. And by you showing up, now you could bless others.
Right.
And I believe in the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
And so by you blessing others, God gonna keep blessing you because
Thank
you ain't
you.
making no excuses. Excuses is for losers. Yeah. And I just want to commend you for
Thank you
showing up.
Thank you.
See, now if anybody listening, she drove from Ohio.
I did.
Drove from Ohio to make sure she got on this podcast.
Yeah.
And while you like, hey, Dontel, I want my story to be heard in this, but you ain't willing to come up the street.
Right.
You ain't willing to jump on a flight.
Right.
How bad you want it? How many excuses you gonna make?
Right.
And I just want to commend you for not making that.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate that.
I want you to tell us, what is your superpower and why?
My superpower is hope. I have a lot of hope in terms of myself, and I help others have that and find that within themselves if they felt as if they've lost it. So I'm a person of hope. I'm a person of grace, and just as I would want that for myself, I want to be able to give that to others, and that's what I do.
I love that. If you can say something to an aesthetic professional that might be going through it, might want to give up today, what would you say to encourage them?
I would say, don't give up. You got this. You started this pathway for a reason, and it's up to you to keep going. Know your why, dig deep, push through, and make the difference that you are set to make. Don't give up.
I love that. That's big. Because, a lot of times us as entrepreneurs, we don't have people around us that understand our vision, that understand our goals. And sometimes we go to them for feedback.
And they'll tell you to quit.
They'll tell you.
You have if there's someone that's not accustomed to working a business, to pushing past their fears, to doing something that they're truly passionate about, if it's someone that has a life of giving up, they're going to encourage you to do the same exact thing. And those are not your people. Mm-mm. Those are not your people. That's not your tribe.
I love it because they don't understand it. No. You can't expect them to. I want to thank you for listening to the Content Aesthetic Show today. And I want you to realize that excuses is only for the weak. You have to sometimes get on the road and drive 10 hours, get on the road, spend a couple days to do something that's going to elevate your impact in this world. Nothing is going to come and going to be easy. You're going to have to give up some sleep. You're going to have to give up some time. You're going to have to make sacrifices because you're on this grind. And just know this, as long as you keep watering this plant, it shall grow. The moment you stop, it shall die. So you choose which route you want your business to go. And you make that decision today. And I hope this episode helped you to no longer make excuses about the mission you was blessed with. I'm Dontel Antonio, and I want to thank you for watching and being on the King of Content, the Content Aesthetic Show.